everybody, and welcome to The Decision Makers, the show where we dig into what it takes to run a town. We are back today with Council Member Jason Nadeau. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
It's been year and a half since the last time we sat down together. Certainly a while back.
Yes, it was right after the announcement of our new hospital.
Right, so it would have been,
The day after, I remember.
That is right. So that's about, not quite a year and a half. So you are now in your second term as a council member for Neepawa. First of all, because we've gone through the preliminaries with you, we know who you are, where you come from. What made you decide to run again?
I thought it was an amazing experience running the first time. I really want to give back to my community, and I want to do things that will help support Neepawa moving forward, not only for myself, but for everyone in the community. Oh. And I feel Neepawa needs that voice of someone that comes from a different area. So I'm not a businessman. I come from education and a background of working hard, and I want to be able to represent Neepawa with that type of voice that also accounts for all residents.
And do you find that background in education specifically really helped you in your first term to connect in different ways from your fellow council members?
I think it gives you, everybody has their own different job and their own different lens. And I think being an educator gives me a different lens where I really look towards equality and equity. And I could distinguish between what we need to do in order to help move forward. So we're all moving forward together in a way that allows everybody to be successful and support everybody moving forward.
And certainly with that background as well, in a high school, in an elementary school, as well as on any committee, any board, any council you're ever on, there is going to be some dissent. And so does that really kind of give you that experience to work through those kind of conflicts?
Oh, definitely. You have to be able to try to understand someone from where they're coming from and their point of view. And really, when you have the different points of view and everyone has an opportunity, democracy is great because everyone has an opportunity to voice their opinion and give their 2 cents. And in the end, you come up with the best decisions possible when everyone has an opportunity to voice their views. And sometimes these views are different and they're thinking outside of the box or they're thinking in the box. And some are conservative and some are more liberal and some are sometimes crazy ideas. But you need all of that in order to come up with the best decisions in the end.
And do you think that we're actually getting all those voices? As a council member, you sort of hear from the community. Do you think we are getting all the different voices of the community that we could be getting?
I think the residents of Neepawa elected a really neat council. It's a little different from the last term, for sure. But it's really nice to see that the residents know who they want, and all the different people, every composition is different, which gives us a different flavor and a different vibe. And I think it's a really great team, and I think moving forward it's going to be a really neat 4 years here in order to help move Neepawa forward and to be one of the most moving forward communities in the province. And I think we're going to continue to see big things happen in Neepawa, and we're really set as a council because we have a really good staff base that helps support us. And
absolutely, yeah.
I know everyone talks about them because they are so good, and we're very thankful to have such a good admin team, and the employees of the town are really strong, which helps support the town moving forward.
Yeah, and just sticking with this theme of communication for a bit, because I know that's sort of a passion of yours as well, as making sure the communication goes well. A lot of people in town are non-voting, unable to vote at this time. Do you think that their voices are getting heard as well? Do you think there's avenues of communication that are available to them?
I really think it's important that you hear from everyone, and that is the reason why I went to every single resident's door that I could get into. We were talking before we started here, some residents, though, they live where it's hard to access. So there were a couple apartments and buildings that I couldn't get into, and I really did try. But there's probably about a dozen residents I couldn't get to, but I tried to leave flyers or access for someone to contact me. And, definitely I'm always an open door, and I'm here to listen and represent citizens and residents of our town. But I did go to every door, and I did take a lot of time speaking with residents that could or could not vote. And I think it's important that those residents also have a voice. And when residents would say, why are you even talking to me? Like, I can't vote. And I said, well, you're important. You live in our community and you need to have some say. And I'm here to represent you, whether you can vote or not. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So really, that's what's important, is everybody gets a little say, whether it's talking with your local councillor, and all the councillors are really good where you can go and talk to any one of them, or just give any one of us a call or a text, or contact the town office and they'll put you in touch with whatever councillor you'd like to speak with.
And I hear a rumor you have a big book of sort of all the suggestions you've received.
That's right. As I went around, I took notes from everybody, and I have this list, and it's just finding the right time. As the election happened at the end of October, unfortunately, a lot of the weather took place, where some of the ideas that residents wanted brought forward and some of the concerns and ideas, they got coated in snow just as the election occurred. So it's something that I will be voicing over the next 4 years and try to get those issues dealt with as fast as possible. And also, it's kind of like a book of secrets, but it's not. It's definitely something I share, right, with all of council as the time arises. But also, there's going to be a point here in the next month or two where I just want to make sure everyone understands some of the things that residents are saying to me. Because, again, I'm representing the community, and I want to make sure that I'm doing what I can to support them.
I think one of the strong things about Neepawa's council is that for the last two, certainly, and probably going back further than that, we actually did have to elect our members. We had enough candidates that we did go through the election process, whereas in a lot of places the members are acclaimed. You've been through that process twice now. How was that for you?
I think it's important. It's part of democracy, and we had a really good discussion as we were running for council. And I think it's important to allow people to voice what their opinions are and bring up all those good ideas. I think if you took those ideas from our night where we did our debating, I think it would be, you have a lot of good ideas moving forward to help move Neepawa forward, and you just need to take that and bottle it up and bring it forward. There was a lot of great ideas from those that were and were not elected. Yeah, for sure.
I was fortunate enough to be there that night, so I would certainly agree that there was a lot of interesting things that came up.
It also gets us talking about those important issues that we need to focus on as a council. So our council, we need to talk about all those issues and kind of get a good baseline of what we can do in order to help move us forward in that direction. Being so competitive, though, it definitely made for a really good race, I think. And this last election, I had to up my game a little bit, where I put some signs up too, and I just didn't want to leave anything on the table, and it was really neat to run against some really strong candidates. So definitely something that you get into, and it becomes part of when you're running, it becomes part of your life.
Now, having been on council for your term already, you have already done some work with some of the subcommittees, started on some projects. Is there anything that you consider that your passion projects, your unfinished business as you go into this new term?
Everyone always jokes. One of the big ideas I brought forward when I first started the last council was the pool slide. And it's nice to see that it's in progress. It's supposed to be finished before the season starts for swimming. This COVID has really hampered a lot of things, where
certainly
finding a contractor has been really difficult. But I think we're at a really strong point now where that slide is in the process of being built. We need it finished in order to open the pool. So I think there will be a lot of pressure in order for us to get that done. And I think that's going to be a really big draw for tourism and recreation for our community. And I know it's a small thing, but that's one of those things that you really want to see. It's all about balancing. We do so many good things in our community, whether it's the water, the sewage, the hospital, but we also have to make sure that we focus on the quality of life for residents. And by that, recreation is one of those qualities of life. So helping support different groups as they grow, supporting recreation in our community, whether it's a pool slide or whether it's our arena, those are things that kind of bring that passion forward for me in order to have things for my family and for yours. So I want to make sure that the community has a lot of amenities that people do leave sometimes a community in order to go chase.
Very true. So the pool, the slide at the pool, I'm just going to stick on that for a bit because that was actually something I'd forgot was in progress until I drove by the other day. And so that was announced probably a couple of years ago now. Is that?
I think about a year and a half again.
Okay, yeah.
To 2 years,
It
sure.
was certainly before the hospital, so I'm trying to.
Yes.
So what you're saying is that the construction has reached the point where it has, like, the pool can't open without it finishing. Like, it's just sort of.
It might be possible to open the pool, but with all the construction, it wouldn't be safe. So the goal would be we're either going to have to clean it up or move forward and hopefully get the pool slide installed, I believe.
Okay.
As you see, it's opened up right now, and I think we're in a good stage where we have that ability.
Okay.
If everything works out, we will get that slide.
Are we still waiting for anything? That you know of. I know you're on the rec committee, but you're not exactly, hands in the ground, putting a pool or putting a slide in. So.
That's one thing that has changed under this council. I moved to a different committee. I'm no longer on the rec committee.
Okay.
So that would be a couple different councillors this term. I'm on a committee with Mayor Headley, and it's called the Environmentalism and Volunteer Environmentalism Committee. So that's something new that's coming out from council this year. It's a totally new committee, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that. But
tell me about that. I'd love to hear more. I heard it announced, and I haven't heard anything really since then. So
right, as it's a new committee, we're really excited, and we're looking to start off slow and strong. So Mayor Headley and myself have been meeting over the last couple months, and we've been organizing what it's going to look like. And everything we've planned, it has to get approved through council first, from the whole council. But we're looking at supporting the sustainability with our community in regards to businesses and individuals and organizations and how we do our day-to-day in order to help support the environment, but also to help support the way we volunteer in our community. It's becoming more and more challenging to find people to volunteer. And we've seen it with our service clubs. The numbers are starting to drop off from all of our different service clubs, and we're seeing that just when we do celebrations such as Canada Day and our Family Day that we just recently had. So we're trying to help access volunteers in our community more stronger.
So have you had any citizen involvement in this committee yet, or you're not at that stage yet?
Right now we're just kind of organizing everything before we come out to share more information more formally. But it's looking like a really neat committee that's going to help support those two areas as we continue growing. Definitely sustainable development, and we're seeing more and more in that in everything that we're doing. Whether it's you see it with our stores eliminating plastic bags. There's a simple example. And of course, we're all pretty good at recycling these days now. So those are some of the basic things, but there's still more we can do. And that's where we can help support businesses to achieve those different heights, as well as individuals and organizations, depending how you'd like to incorporate these into your day-to-day.
Because this strikes me as something that would be really great to get youth involved in. As it's something that I know a lot of youth are passionate about, environmentalism, and also, getting that perspective on volunteerism might be really valuable. Definitely.
It's important as you're building your resume in order to volunteer, and especially volunteering in your community. And that's one of my passions that Mayor Headley understood, because he knows I volunteer a lot in the community, and I think it's important for all people to volunteer in the community and help make their community a better place. And my own children, I'm really pushing them to get out there and help out in different ways. It was about a year and a half ago where I was right in my own neighborhood. This was I was redoing the flower gardens just from, I didn't want to put any extra work on the town. So I asked the town if it was something that they wouldn't mind if I was able to help tackle. So it involved replacing some mulch, and it involved, doing some weeding. So I was able to help make my neighborhood look a little more better. And I needed more mulch. And I thought I ordered enough, but I didn't. But I called, Mayor Headley. At the time, it was Councillor Headley. And I said, is there a way you can help get me some mulch so I can finish this? So it was done. And he came himself, and it just goes to show you,
Yeah.
the type of person he is. I really respect him, and, he came and brought the mulch himself rather than putting it onto one of his employees even, which was really great. So, the co-op did an amazing thing where they helped out with that mulch right away so I can finish the job. And, and then that helped make the community a lot better overall, but also in my own neighborhood. And I think there's an example. I grabbed my family to help me do that. So all my kids were there working, and my spouse too.
Yeah.
So if we all just did that little extra in our community, even if it's just in front of your house, if you just went in front of your house and did one little extra thing, it would really help make Nipawin maintain that beauty that it has, because we want Nipawin to be known, and we want Nipawin to be one of the most beautiful communities in the province.
I think that's an example also. First of all, you taking the initiative to spearhead this project, but also bringing someone else in who maybe wouldn't have thought to volunteer to give mulch. But then when they were asked, when they realized this is a need that there is, this is a need I can fill. Is that sort of a direction you're going with it? Is looking at the new face of volunteerism and seeing how it works?
You're right. The society has changed where we don't volunteer the way we used to. Like, we're seeing that with service clubs. But I think you're right. We need somebody to take charge and then to help bring people in. I think people deep down are willing to help, but sometimes the commitment looks a little daunting, and sometimes they just don't know how they can help.
Yeah.
So if we can spearhead some key people in charge of different areas of volunteering, I think those people are willing to help out. We've seen a good example in our community when we had our flood.
Absolutely.
There was a call out for half-ton trucks to show up at the water tower, and there was like
You
miles.
couldn't see the end of the line.
That's right.
I was out there filling sandbags, and you could not see the end of the line of those trucks.
So it just shows you that people are there and they're willing to help, but they just need that call.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping this new committee is going to help organize some of that and help direct some people that are looking to help out in their community, and then we'll gain a momentum and help bring Nipawin back into a strong area of volunteering.
I think probably, and maybe someone who actually is involved in this will argue with me, but the Roxy team model seems to work really well that way. You have someone organizing the team captains,
right?
And then they get the team captains, and the team captains get their teams. So you have this sort of tree sort of structure of one person spearheading each individual thing and asking people to help, and them knowing this is the role that I can fill.
You're right. We know we don't have to reinvent the wheel, and we started reinventing the wheel, and then we realized right away that we don't need to do that.
Yeah.
So that's why we're taking it a little slower before we come out of the gates with our new committee here, because we want to make sure we do it right, and we do it well, and we use those existing models that work well. So the Roxy is definitely a good model, and definitely there's some people that they just want to volunteer once, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
So there's different levels of
And
volunteering.
people who want to volunteer just to do this one thing, and they'll do it for anybody, but they want to do that one thing.
That's right.
So you need all these people. Like, everyone has these skills that they can give. But this is not your only committee. So what other ones then? You said you've sort of changed. You've kept some. You've changed others. What are you working with right now?
So that's my new committee. I'm the chair of that committee, but I'm still on the Spruce Plains Justice Committee, which allows us to hear cases for people that are being taken off the court system. So it's really a great committee. With COVID, we haven't been meeting as much as we used to.
Yeah.
However, we still meet pretty regularly. I think tomorrow, there's a few cases tomorrow for me. So we're going to be, and I know this won't be live, so no one will really know the date, but we see a few cases here and there, and it really helps support restorative justice in our area. With the Spruce Plains.
I know we dug into this a bit last time we talked and sort of got an idea of how that worked. It seems like it's really great, and I'm really glad to hear that it's still going. Are you meeting a little bit more often now than you were during COVID, or?
Definitely it's got more ownership for the individuals that need help in making better choices, but it allows them to make things right, rather than being stuck with that record for the rest of their lives for making a bad decision. in the moment. So it's definitely a way to provide some restitution, in the same sense, give them some consequences that will help them move forward and achieve success in their life. Another committee that I'm on is the Western Manitoba Regional Library Board.
Yeah.
And that's one everyone's always excited to hear about. And definitely having 4 years on that board now has given me a lot of perspective. In the 4 years, it's changed at least 3 main ways. Like, we've had 3 directors, and they've changed the model of how it's organized. So things are so different in just 4 short years.
Yeah.
But it's been a really good board to be on, where you feel like you're making a huge difference, because libraries are important in communities, and it's also important as a region to have that partnership. So it's interesting how we have come so far from just 4 years ago. And the way the library distributes its books from the way it's managed is all been changing in just 4 short years. So that's one of my committees also. Another committee that I'm on is the Rossburn Subdivision Trail Association.
Right.
So that goes from Neepawa all the way to the Saskatchewan border, just past Russell. So it's about 176 kilometers of trails.
Now I wonder, is this hiking trails? Is this walking trails, skiing trails? Like, what is this exactly?
You know, definitely, it's supposed to be
All
a
of the
walking.
above?
It's supposed to be a walking trail.
Okay.
Some people hike it. So we had a hiker last year, a famous hiker who hikes all sections of the trail across Canada. It's a trail that's supposed to be connected right across our country.
Yeah.
And in the winter, we do allow snowmobiling on it, but we do not allow quads. So snowmobiles, they're on top of the snow.
Yeah.
It's the quads that we don't allow. But it's an old railway bed that it's 99 feet across. The width of it is 99 feet, and it goes from here all the way across Canada. So our section is from the Saskatchewan border to Neepawa, and then from Neepawa again, of course, it continues. But it funnels out at our beautiful bike park that we have, and then goes right behind the cemetery and goes all the way to our other park, Rotary Park, after it goes through Riverbend, of course. So it goes right through Neepawa, and it's important because we found from some of our studies, our rec study, that walking is the number one trending recreational activity for people. And people, especially during COVID, we've seen a lot of people using our trail system. Yeah. So just maintaining the trail is really a lot of work. So whether you're fixing pieces of trail that have eroded, you might have walked on the trail not even knowing you were on the trail at some points. So going right along the river that goes behind our current hospital, going all the way to Riverbend. So a few council meetings ago, I had to share some information that parts of the trail over the fall, I guess, would have eroded. So we just need to put a little extra work to make sure that trail is stable, so no one accidentally falls in or the bank collapses.
It might be nicer to get out on the trail and just kind of grab a camera and do a little walk along the trail and talk about it someday.
You know, definitely. That sounds good. And, you know, our community does really well. We have a lot of strong people at the town office that help create some neat little get out there initiatives. So if you're looking for, you know, they have clues and you're looking for different boxes where there's a little treasure hidden, or sometimes there's something called geocaching. I don't know. So I never have luck with that, you know. So, you know, I usually go out with the kids and we're trying to find the stuff, and sometimes they're hidden so well.
They really are.
And if you're at the wrong time of day and the mosquitoes are bad, and you're in. Which
is not a problem yet, but give it a couple months.
Definitely.
Won't be long. Yep.
So those are a couple of my main committees, but there's more. I'm just trying to think here.
Yeah.
One of the new ones that got added officially this year is a board that I was already on, which was the Westlake Employment Services Board. So I've been on that board now for a few years, and it's officially a a representative from our town council now,
Okay.
so I represent the town officially in that capacity. But it's a really important board to help people in our town find employment and also gain the skills that they need in order.
They have some training services as well, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
If you're looking for an A1 license in order to get your truck driving license, or if you're looking to become a nurse, so there's an LPN program, and they're able to help support you when you're applying for the education programs in order to help pay at least some of the tuition, if not all, depending on your situation. So you would have to apply to find out how much you could be possibly subsidized and how that would work if you meet the criteria.
Which is a really important resource in our community that I don't think a lot of people really realize is there for them to use.
That's right. We really feel that we're used well, but we can be used better, like even more. So we want to see people continue to use our services, and we've been working in conjunction with Immigration Services and also the Salvation Army, because they're in our building. We moved to that building strategically in order to allow the users that use these different services to be able to access us in a lot easier way.
Well, we are actually running short of time already.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to ask you one last question, and that is, what do you think is the biggest challenge and the biggest opportunity on the horizon for Neepawa?
You know, obviously we're really focused on our new hospital. And the town of Neepawa hospital is important. It's something that I ran on in the last election. This election, it's done now, so it's one of those things now, just making sure that it gets completed. It gets completed in a timely manner, but also we have to make sure we don't sacrifice our quality of life. So it comes back to, you know, it's something that I learned. I was really good with my budget, where I would really budget my own personal finances, but it got to the point where if you make everyone else's life not very enjoyable, you're losing. So you have to be able to do it in a balance. You have to be able to afford the hospital, but you also have to do it where you still have some of those important perks. And I think
afford the hospital and afford the water slide.
That's right. You need the recreation in order to complement the hospital. Even though, you know, if you really buckle down and just did one, it could be advantageous in the future. But then you're sacrificing those years right now where people could benefit from it. So you really have to do that benefit and find that.
So is that a challenge, or is that an opportunity, or is that both?
I think there are always opportunities.
Yeah.
But that's why you need a good mix on council in order to make sure that everyone has their different opinions, and in the end we always make the best decision as a whole. And you use those factors in order to help determine, you know, what we need to do each year in order to make Neepawa a safe, vibrant, growing community that has access to resources, and some of the best resources and some of the best recreational opportunities.
So Neepawa in 10 years, what does it look like?
Of course, we're going to have to continue growing. So that's another focus, is residential opportunities for people, so we can continue growing. I think Neepawa is going to continue expanding, and we're going to see our boundaries continue to max out and expand in order to allow for more residential opportunities. I think Neepawa is going to have more and more businesses. So in 10 years, we're going to see more restaurants, more businesses, and we're going to see more commercial growth. And I think they're going to start really fast now that the hospital started. So.
All right, we'll have to sit down with you again at the end of this term and see where we're at in that vision.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for spending time with me today. It's always a pleasure to sit down and talk to you. We could have done a half an hour more easily. There's always things to talk about.
Definitely. Thank you.
And thank all of you for joining us. We will see you again next time on The Decision Makers.